Plan International Canada is a global organization that has been dedicated to children's rights and equality for girls for over 85 years, and just announced Global Nationals Farah Nasser has been named their newest celebrated ambassador. Celebrity ambassador?
I think celebrated is the term.
Celebrate and celebrity. Let's
all
be
of the
real.
above. All of the above.
Well, we're celebrating you, Farah. Congrats.
Thanks so much for having me on to talk about this.
Oh, gosh, it is our pleasure. Tell us about, I know you're passionate about this, and this is a no-brainer that you two have come together, this organization and yourself. Tell us more about the barriers that girls face.
You know, girls are denied their rights more than any other group in the world, and we've seen it in the past couple of weeks. But, you know, when we talk about the big picture, the stat that really gets me every time is the World Economic Forum says that it's going to take 131 years to get to gender equity for women and men when it comes to pay. 131 years. Like, that is...
Where are we at?
Unacceptable. Exactly.
How many more years? Really?
So it's mind-boggling to think about that. And there's so many factors when it comes to women. And one thing I'm going to talk about, and it might make some people squeamish, but it's our biology, and it's periods, for example, menopause, things that aren't discussed in the workplace as much, but really have an impact on women and on girls. And that's something that Plan is really passionate about. So that's why I'm very excited to be involved to talk about that. One stat that is very interesting that I found is that a Dutch study found that 80% of women, the week that they have their period, they're less productive, but only like 5% are willing to talk to their bosses about it, right? And this is something that affects so many women, and without sounding too crass, and no offense to you, but if that much blood was coming out of a man's body, they might never come back to work again.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep. Sorry.
So, sorry.
Yeah, but it could
okay.
it could be the truth. And you know how happy I was to see, and we'd heard about this movement over and over again, that more and more municipalities were going to start providing free tampons and pads and things like this. When I saw that for the first time walking into a public washroom as a woman and being at one time a girl, and being when you're like in that moment, you're like yes, you know,
yes,
to see
finally.
that provided
Totally.
and free, it was
because and a survey Plan did found that 1 in 4 women have a hard time deciding on period products and groceries, and you know how much everything's going up right now. We were just talking about inflation. And so it's something that we don't think about. A lot of women don't think about, but for some women, it's a choice that they have to make. It's unbelievable.
Okay, let's talk a bit about what Plan is doing for working to remove some of these barriers and create a better world for girls and young women.
I think one of the things is talking about these kind of things, right? Removing the taboo. And I'm a big believer in really differentiating between equality and equity, right? So equity is the investment and equality is the payoff. And I'll tell you the difference between the two, right? So equality is assuming everybody's exactly the same. But equity is understanding our differences and what we have to do to get everybody to the same stage. Right? So I'll give you a very basic example that I tell my kids. So imagine there's a tree and we tell an elephant, we tell a snake, and we tell a goldfish to climb a tree. They're all equal, climb the tree. You know that a monkey, for example, would climb the tree faster than a snake or an elephant. Elephants can climb trees, by the way. Surprising, but they can. Yes, I know, didn't know. Fun fact. So when you're talking about all these animals climbing the same thing, you think that okay, well, we're telling them all to be equal and do the same task, but not everybody can do the same task in the same way. And for women, it's a little bit different. So I think we have to recognize that equity piece to actually get to the payoff, which is equality.
Okay, all right. Back in 2011, a day was designated and recognized, October 11th, as International Day of the Girl. Let's talk about the importance of this day. And we were just saying in the commercial break leading up to the segment that, because for a second I thought that was maybe a
typo,
mistake,
right,
you know, because normally we celebrate these days leading up to them, but it was last week that this happened.
It was last week, and it's funny, we were going to have a big splash because I was being announced a celebrated ambassador, and then this war happened, and it was such a good reminder of why we were doing this type of work, right? We saw in the past few weeks this conflict, how women and girls have been treated in a totally different way when we talk about sexual violence, when we talk about mothers who are pregnant, when we talk about, I mean, all kinds of things. It's a different way. Women are treated differently and have different outcomes when it comes to wars. So it's just just such an important thing in my mind to talk about, and it's such a reminder given what's happening in the world right now.
All right, for those that are watching right now, they want to find out more, maybe want to get more involved, how can they do so?
They can get to Plan Canada's website. I'm tweeting things on my socials as well. There's a lot of work to do.
Sure is.
All right, and there's the website right there at the bottom of your screen, plancanada.ca. Farah, it's always so good to see you.
Thank you, guys. Nice to see you too.
Appreciate it.